Alrighty then, we are here in lovely. What town are we in? Clinton.
Yeah,
Clinton.
right?
Clinton, Massachusetts.
You know, I remember that.
Did you?
I tried to, my best.
It's impressive.
Well, when you have a big brain and you drink a lot of alcohol,
You know what that means?
that big brain becomes smaller.
A wet brain.
Becomes a wet brain. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
Ryan.
that's the scientific term for it. Actually, wet brain.
What is it? Like, what scientist
It
made
is.
that up?
Yeah, look it up.
Shit,
It's a real thing.
All right, our listeners, look it up. Send me the article. I don't know how to use the Google, so.
I hate to take this joke into something real,
Yeah.
but hey,
What's
sorry.
in Clinton?
Robert F. Kennedy Children's Action Corps.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait,
I
what-
used to work there.
Wait, what is it?
No, was it in Clinton or was it in the town over? RFK?
Yeah.
Or Children Action Corps. It's like a place for troubled kids.
Okay, well, we don't care about that.
Yeah.
Sterling
No,
Street
it's
Brewing
fine.
is here.
It's
yeah.
fine.
We're,
10 out of 10 don't recommend.
Great intro, Erica.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
RFK already had his day.
There's billiards over there. That's pretty cool.
Okay, we're at
It's
Sterling.
not cool. It's don't go over there.
Can you
It's not.
smoke inside
I
there?
agree.
No, you can't. But you
You
will get in a
can.
fight.
That's even.
Whether or not you want to be in a fight, you will get in a fight.
All right.
Where is this?
Just around the
pool
corner.
hall, right across the street.
People take their pool very seriously in Clinton.
Very seriously.
Fun fact. So, what's up? How are you, Mike?
I'm good. How are you guys?
You know,
How was the drive out?
the drive out was beautiful. That 495 belt is picturesque.
I love nothing more than driving down 495 and
Yeah.
just looking at all the trees on the side of the road.
That's really, yeah. And Route 2 is really nice for that, too.
Yeah, man, I've never been more angry in my entire life than any time I've been on Route 2.
What music do you listen to on Route 2?
It doesn't even matter at that
Oh,
point.
really? I would think like Wilson Pickett. 'Cause, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Here's the real question.
Wilson Phillip, I mean, sorry.
Route
Yeah.
2 or 202? Which one would you rather?
I've never driven 202, so
Good, don't.
Yeah,
It's just windy, annoying, more trees.
I
Right.
guess
Yeah, fuck trees.
Yeah, you know what?
if I have to choose, I'll just sell my car.
You shouldn't. Yeah, let's sell your car. Just
Yeah.
live at the brewery.
Yeah,
That's not a code violation.
I'm only a mile down the street, so I could walk here.
Yeah, but walking's for
Jeez.
squares.
Yeah,
Yeah, and who
I
wants
mean,
to
get
be
my
healthy?
cardio in though.
All right, fuck yeah, let's do that. We're
We're going to go right to his place after
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Build some cardio.
so, what are we drinking right now? We're gonna go right into that. What are you drinking?
Delicious beer.
I'm drinking a Hefeweizen.
Hefeweizen, yeah.
It's great.
Is that how you say? How do you say it here?
Hefeweizen.
Hefeweizen. Some places,
Hefeweizen.
some places say it differently, and
Do they?
Hefeweizen.
yeah, Hefeweizen. Yeah.
Heffy.
My first brewing job, I had a guy ask me for the Hoffeweizen
Oh,
Where was
we
that?
had that was
that's
at
original.
John Harvard's.
Oh, that doesn't even.
Birmingham.
Well, that
R.I.P.
exists.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yep.
That's why. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's not why.
Weren't they a shirts on tap shirt?
They were.
Like
For a-
not that long
for
ago.
a day, and then they
We
retired.
were supposed to be, and then COVID hit.
I'm pretty sure
Well,
I
you
got
I was
Sure.
a
actually
shirt.
I was the one that started the shirts on tap thing.
Yeah.
For Harvard's,
Good
and
job.
we were
I'm
supposed
pretty
to
sure
come
I
out.
got one.
I have
Did
the
you?
shirt.
I'm
yeah.
I have a sticker. I have a
Yeah, it's a green shirt.
Dude,
discount
you could sell that on
card.
eBay for some like
Oh, they-
$2.
They told me that they weren't going to go through with it because of COVID.
Oh,
so
no, what happened?
I never got one.
LOL.
Oh.
Do you want one? Ryan has one.
It smells like fish I wear to work.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Think so.
You're welcome.
Cool.
that was a great story.
Good start.
Well,
Hefeweizen's,
I'm
man.
drinking the Hefeweizen. No, I'm drinking the Hefeweizen. It's very good.
I have the Hellas. It slaps.
Yeah, I'm having the Irish Stout.
And I'm having
And
the
Somebody just fell.
yeah.
Hunter. That's good right there.
Yeah, just leave it there. Yeah.
You got it, man.
Oh, sweet.
That's our kitchen guy, Hunter. He likes to drop things, and I like to tell him that it's good just wherever he puts that.
I love it.
That's classic Hunter
love
for
it.
you, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I can't like if he drops anything, I can't go without telling him like, yep, it's fine.
so you're gonna hear that a lot during this episode.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, we're like pretty close to where everything happens.
You wouldn't. No, this is a cool place. I actually like.
is the
I like
coolest place.
the. I like the feel. We're in the middle of March right now, and the wind and the doors are open, and we're not
It's
freezing our ass.
so
off,
nice.
which is
Lovely. The sun, wow. It's like I'm also in a good mood. It's weird.
yeah.
This is
The sun comes out and it's like life isn't so bad anymore.
No, it still is. Crippling depression's real, but whatever.
that garage door is definitely my favorite thing about this brewery.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, sweet.
Like that's top of the list for me.
Yeah.
I've worked in a lot of like dungeons of a brewery where
Yeah.
you don't see the sun
Like John Harvard's.
ever.
Not, I
Not
mean,
ju-
the one in Boston, I feel like was like that.
Cambridge was.
That's what I mean, Cambridge,
I worked
yes.
at Framingham.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Which had windows all
Yes.
over the place.
Yes.
Which was great. But here, I open up this door, and sometimes the boss is like, "Hey, don't open the door." I'm like, "Okay, you got it."
Sometimes, but sometimes he's like,
But now the door's open. And sometimes he's like, "Yeah, the door's good to be open."
yeah, we want the door.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's pretty
Cool.
much if
I like
the
it.
AC is on, don't open the door.
Well, that makes sense.
Fair enough, I guess.
I mean, I can't argue with that one. Ryan, can you argue with that?
Negative Ghost Rider.
All right, so we're in Clinton. We've mentioned that 100 times.
We're at Sterling Street.
Sterling Street, yeah.
Almost 100 times.
Interview over. No,
Nailed it.
You've been in the beer industry for a while.
Yep.
Tell us about your journey in craft beer.
So I was in my junior year at Framingham State,
Nice. What's their mascot?
the Ram.
Go Rams.
Framingham State Rams.
They're in Rams in Massachusetts.
Nah, at like farms.
Yeah.
Not naturally.
Not naturally.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yep.
All right, next. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was in my junior year, and I got a job waiting tables at John Harvard's. And I was most of the way through my psychology / neuroscience degree. And I realized the only way to actually make money on that, make money, quote unquote,
Yeah. What's money?
yeah, was to get a PhD
Yeah.
and spend the rest of my life sitting at a computer, which for me is like,
Soul crushing.
that's a primal
Yeah.
fear for me. That's a definite like it'll take me like 3 hours to build up the courage to do 5 minutes worth of paperwork on my
Yeah.
laptop, and that happens maybe once a month here, where I
hear
actually
you.
have to put numbers in.
Yeah.
So I walked into the brewery at John
So that was a
Harvard's one day,
negative.
and I talked to the head brewer, and I was like, "Hey, can I help you guys out?" So it's a classic hero's journey where he handed me a deck brush, and he was like, "Yeah, go clean the floors over there."
And you did your side quest.
And I did my side quest, and I
yeah.
leveled up and
And eventually got to the main campaign.
eventually got to the main campaign.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, I started off washing kegs, cleaning tanks, started brewing there after a few months, pretty much running the cellar after about 6 months, maybe a year or so. I was there for 4 years. I was at Exhibit A as a cellarman for 3 months. And then Boston Beer Works came after me, and they wanted me to run their Framingham location. So I went over there, ran that for, I don't know, 8 months or so. They moved me out to Lowell, to the production plant. They had that big 50-barrel production plant right by,
The Songus Arena.
yeah, right
Yeah.
by the Saugus, yep. And
They closed.
yeah, they're gone. They're
Yeah.
gone now.
For better or worse? You can say it. You can
Not to speak ill of the
They're gone
dead,
now.
but for better.
For better.
Yeah,
We've had many guests piss on their grave, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I took probably, 2 months off of like doing actual production work and went back to John Harvard's just waiting tables until I could find another job. And then I took over at Mystic as the head brewer.
Yeah.
Rest in
And-
Rest in
peace.
peace.
Death follows you, bro. What are you doing?
I'm hold
Killing
on, it
shit.
gets better.
Yeah.
It gets better.
Oh my god.
It gets better. And then I went back again to John Harvard's in Framingham as the head brewer. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And they let me go, and then they shut it down. And the day after they let me go, I got in touch with Mason Jesse, who owns Sterling Street. And I consulted for them, which was, it's weird for me to say that because they basically had the whole plan like figured out and done. They had everything.
You just finalized it for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They were
They're like, this is a good idea.
yeah, they were like,
Yeah.
so what do we need? I'm like tri-clamp gaskets?
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know. You already have the equipment ordered. You have a really good blueprint. You have everything planned out well. You need like some tri-clamps, some gaskets, a couple butterfly valves. Are you really paying me for this right now? This seems insane.
Yeah.
And they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Not much though. I wasn't going to pad the check or anything. I was just like, yeah, I did like a couple hours worth of work.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hey, you want to be our brewer? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was conditional. That was in May of 2020, and I worked with them throughout the summer to make sure that everything was good to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they already had this space leased. They had all the equipment ordered except for this.
Big guy.
You guys who are listening cannot see it, but I'm
Yeah.
pointing at the big tank that we have.
It's a big boy.
We got that 6 months after we opened.
Nice.
Cool.
And,
What was opening day for you? Do you remember?
October 10th of 2020,
2020.
Okay.
right in the middle of the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy clap.
But
Easy clap.
yeah.
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 Yeah, not bad. Super simple to open up when nothing is allowed to be open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that fun?
We
It was
weren't
so
bored.
easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Yeah.
we were packed that entire first day.
Wow.
I mean, definitely like beyond the recommendations.
Right. Yeah.
Packed. And we've been
Pack sense.
doing very well.
Yeah.
Since then.
So your growth has kind of been, I don't want to say like unexpected, but a lot of people know who you are.
Yeah, we really didn't expect it to kind of go the way that it has.
Why? What's happened? What did you guys do?
He's here.
Magic.
Death
They-
follows.
Yep. Only after I leave a brewery, though.
Yeah, don't leave.
Yeah, don't leave.
I've never shut a brewery down. It's only after I've left that breweries have shut down. Mace and Jesse are both incredibly business minded, and they're super talented at running a business. Especially something like
That's
this.
huge.
Like this just seems to be their niche where they fall into in life. And I'm good at one thing, and that's making beer.
Cool.
Not to
Please.
toot my own horn, but
Pretty good at it.
yeah, I make beer. That's all I got.
Yeah. So what kind of beer do you like to make?
Oh, I like to make all kinds.
Yeah.
Love it.
I can't say that I like to drink all kinds,
Oh yeah, fair enough.
but like, our fruited lactose sour that
Is that your favorite?
Yeah.
it's not my definitely not my favorite. No. But I love making it, but I hate drinking it.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a point where you get to saying, I don't like this beer, but they don't pay me to have opinions on whether or not I like the beer that I make.
Sure.
So
And it's consumer driven, really.
exactly,
Yeah.
like I don't get paid to make shitty beer because I don't like that style of beer. I get paid to make good beer, whether or not I feel a certain way about it.
Definitely. Yeah.
I like to make beers that challenge me. Like
Oh, sorry. Yeah, continue.
things that just kind of break the box and keep my chops up and keep me on my feet.
Yeah. Make it more interesting.
Yeah. What beers is Sterling Street known for?
Our flagship is our Otherwise. That's just our house New England IPA. I've brewed more of that beer than any other beer. We
Shocker.
have, right? So we have, I think we're at 186 or 187 batches
Wow.
total.
In under 2 years, almost. Right.
Yeah, in about 2.5 years. And I've brewed 33 batches of Otherwise. That one's just like every other week,
Yeah.
make a new batch of Otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's always in the tanks.
That's always going. Yep. We have a farmhouse ale up right now that I'm really happy with and has actually been received pretty well.
Nice.
Having worked at Mystic, it's kind of hard to make farmhouse ales popular,
yeah. Yeah.
especially when you get them right. Mm-hmm. And I think we kind of managed to bridge the gap between getting it right and making it popular.
Yeah.
So how did you do that? Like what flavors, I guess, did you push for to make it more approachable?
I like to go with a French saison yeast. Mm-hmm. That's my normal take on a farmhouse ale. Because obviously you have your broad category of farmhouse.
Right.
This one, if you get down to the nitty gritty, is just a French saison,
Okay.
pretty much. And that one was just all Perla hops, flaked wheat, malted wheat. I can't remember the grain bill off the top of my head, but there might have been a bit of Vienna in there too.
Cool.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Super dry.
Yeah.
Finished out at like 0.2 Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Like it's just super drinkable. It's got that like white pepper spice to it, like that barnyard funk
Sure.
you expect.
Cool.
I'd fuck with it.
Love it.
Yeah. We gotta keep the race on. Ryan's giving me the
doobly-doo.
we got some words from our sponsors, and then we're gonna get into some other things about Sterling Street. Take it away, sound guy.
At our local homebrew shop, Beer and Wine Hobby, you can get everything you need to make beer, wine, cider, cheese, and more. Not sure where to start? They have knowledgeable staff there to help. Beer and Wine Hobby is family-owned and located in Danvers, Massachusetts. Visit their website, beer-wine.com, and use our promo code BREWROOTS for 10% off your online order today.
Shirts on Tap is the box subscription service for craft beer lovers. Each month, Shirts on Tap partners up with 7 different breweries from across the country and collaborates on a sweet custom shirt design. We've been teamed up with Shirts on Tap since the inception of the podcast and are proud to announce a new promo code for all of our listeners. To get your first shirt for $5 off, go to the link in our description below and use the promo code. And remember, drink better beer, wear better shirts.
All right, we are back. Ryan has sufficiently hacked the mainframe.
No,
No.
just hit record.
He just hit record.
That's it.
So Sterling Street, you came in really in the infancy of it. Not the infancy of the thought, but opening and coming in. Working at already established breweries, what was different for you?
I had never, I'd never commissioned a brewery before. Like, I'd never been there for...
The beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'd never been the first person to passivate a tank or clean the brew house or, like, do a water brew
Yeah.
on the brew house. So at that point, you know, I had going on 8 years experience as a brewer. And Mason and Jesse were like, so how do you do a water brew? I'm like, fuck if I know. I've never had to do this before. So I had to reach out to all my friends in the beer industry. I reached out to Alan from Amory's Tomb, JP from Lost Shoe.
Yeah.
Like, just everyone that I knew that had done these things. And I was like, how do you do a water brew? They're like, just put a barrel in your mash tun and make sure that the pumps work. Like, all right, that's easy.
Yeah.
I could have done that just with the CIP. I already did that.
They were like, you dingus.
And then just, like, getting the equipment in and making sure that everything was in the right spot.
Yeah.
That was huge for me, too. And then just figuring out... It took me at least 6 months to figure out, you know, all the weird, like, quirks of the system.
Yeah.
And then another 6 months to, like, really dial everything in and get it to where it needed to be.
Yeah.
And
That's
even,
typical for any brewery that's opening, though. I feel
Right.
like that's not atypical. You mentioned Alan from Amory's Tomb. Awesome guy. What's the scene like out here? I feel like every brewery's so far away from each other, but you're close. Like,
We're
geographically.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so probably, I mean, as far as mileage goes, like, the closest brewery to us would be either Medusa or Clover Road over in Hudson. But the quickest trip from where we're sitting right now to another brewery would be Greater Good.
Really?
They're like 14, 15 minutes away.
Shit.
Isn't that crazy?
Worcester is super close.
Close, yeah.
Like, incredibly close.
It just feels like this area, no offense to this area, doesn't get the quote-unquote respect.
Yep. It's isolated.
It's isolated.
Out here.
Yeah.
It's very isolated. And I think that's why the way that we run things here, it works so well for us, because the people in Clinton aren't going to drive to Worcester to go get a beer.
True.
But they will absolutely drive here, even if they're like, even
20
if they're
minutes
the
away or
regulars at the
whatever.
dive
Yeah.
bar
Yeah.
down the street, and they're like, I only want Bud Light. Like, we got a beer for you, dude. Come on in.
Yeah.
So it's very Clinton first, kind of like the people are loyal.
It's very much a neighborhood brewery.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the approach that you have to take in this area.
But you've elevated that beyond that.
Yeah, I like to think so. Definitely. We have people coming out from all over. We have people driving out from Boston
Yeah.
to come out and have beers. Like Boston Beer Girl came out like a year and a half ago, and she was like, "I heard all about you guys. I had to come out and try it." I was like, "Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it."
Yeah. The beer's good.
Yeah.
It's
No, definitely.
they definitely take a lot off my plate, so I can just focus on making the best possible beer.
That's huge, I think.
Like
Yeah.
Brian does all the ordering and the scheduling and figures out what we need and when we need it. Jesse does most of the sales stuff and like the events planning, and I just take care of the production side. And that's it.
Easy peasy.
It's
Yeah.
not like you have to focus on social media or anything like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
good at, you're doing what you're quote unquote good at.
Yeah. There's a very clear division of labor that we've kind of fallen into, and it took some trial and error, obviously, as all these things do. But
So, having to be kind of the local watering hole, if you will, what beers do you feel that you always have to have available for the locals?
we always have otherwise.
Of course, the IPA.
Yep.
Yep.
We always have Hello Clinton, which is our blonde ale. Mm-hmm. That was actually the first recipe that we ran through the system just as like a test batch.
Sure.
To say, okay, I looked at the system and I was like, I expect this to happen, and then let's see what actually happens, and then I'll adjust the numbers down to that. So we always have the blonde ale on. We always have some sort of lager going. We always have some sort of stout going. We always have Newfound, which is our pale ale, which is our all Citra pale ale going, and then we always have some sort of double IPA, and then a different New England going
Yeah.
on top of that.
Yeah.
And now our West Coast IPA still is the name. I'm not just saying that as a pause. Still IPA is kind of coming into the fold as like an always on beer.
Yeah.
Do you see people digging the West Coast?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yep. We have one regular who comes in here every single day and gets like 4 pints.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Now, do you see the tide? It's never going to turn, but do you see people being more open to West Coast IPAs?
I do. Yep.
Other styles in general, even. I mean,
Well, yeah.
lagers.
Yeah. I was just saying today to
The void.
whoever the fuck, myself, probably, or I was talking to the cellar pump. I was like, British beers are making a comeback.
Oh my God.
West Coast IPAs are making a comeback. Like, I really think that we're gonna see a big turn back towards smaller neighborhood breweries and classic styles.
I feel like that's all you can be now. I mean, no one's going to be the next Alchemist or the next
Treehouse.
Sam Adams or Treehouse. I feel like at this point it really is just focused on that local neighborhood bar brewery.
Yeah, and like no one. I mean, Treehouse did it right because they don't do the distribution, and
Sure.
if you look at distribution margins, they're shit.
Right.
Like you lose as soon as your beer hits a can, you're losing money.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
the majority of our sales go through draft.
That's the best way to do it, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
We like that when it happens.
Yeah, me too. It keeps my paychecks coming.
Right.
Correct.
It gets everyone else paid. It pays the rent. It keeps the lights on.
Keeps the
Like,
lights on. Yeah.
I think that's going to be the big thing.
Definitely.
Coming up in the
Agreed.
summer, what do you think the beer of the summer is going to be?
What we do-
IPAs.
Session pails. Is
Yeah.
session still a thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is?
I've seen
Yep.
more
Okay.
session
I think it's
IPAs
a-
and things, I feel like, lately.
Yeah.
Well, with things being low ABV.
Right. It's kind of that
That's
bridge of
just
the
a
gap.
pale ale with different words.
I'm just saying.
It's a marketing thing. I mean, they've used
Yeah.
that, like, you got IPL versus, cold IPA. It has IPA on it, so people are going to buy it.
It's all about the
Exactly.
Yeah, if it says anything IPA, it's going to sell.
Yeah.
That's-
and they see session, it's a familiar word to them, so they'll probably buy it.
That's why we call our farmhouse a farmhouse, even though, like, when you boil it down, forgive the pun.
saison.
French saison.
Yeah, it's a provincial, more specific than French saison. It's a provincial saison.
What is that?
Yeah.
That's like your South Belgian saison
Right.
with French yeast.
No one knows it though.
Yeah, nobody knows it.
Yeah. If I have to Google it, I don't want it.
We did establish you're bad at the Googles.
We did. Thank you. Thank you. So we're saying the strategy for success, quote unquote, let's keep it local. This area does a great job of keeping it local. I think there's a lot of, we were just at Dirigible, they were talking about how their locals keep the door open. When you talk to Amory Tomb, Alan's always like, the locals keep us open.
Yep.
Even Medusa, for a certain fact. I mean, Medusa's
Absolutely.
big. They distribute all throughout the state. You go in there, you know there's regulars in there that they're...
Yeah, you know half the people in there.
Yeah.
I mean, until I moved, so I live in Clinton now.
Okay.
I used to live in Marlboro, like a 5-minute drive from Medusa. So I was there at least twice a week.
They knew you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the locals are what's going to keep your doors open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a tide turning in craft beer, though? From craft beer to low alcohol, no alcohol, seltzers?
Yes and no. I think that the people that want NA beers and they want seltzers, like they already have their favorites and they know where to go. So we have a seltzer on. Just because we have a lot of people who come in here and they want to drink a beer,
Yeah.
but they have celiacs or they don't like beer or whatever
Yes.
their reason is that they're not going to drink a beer. We have a seltzer on just to sort of
Well,
give
it's
them.
like those groups, right? People want to go out in a group, but there's
Right.
always that one person who, like you said, doesn't necessarily like beer. So it's nice to have something for them.
Yeah, exactly.
know.
And it's not all
They'll
that
stay
difficult.
around. Yeah.
I definitely think that a lower alcohol wave is coming. I think that people want to go out and spend a lot of time in a brewery
Yeah.
and not get tanked, and then like just be able to go home or be able to bar hop.
For greater good. No,
Yeah.
no.
No, but it's
Well,
also
even
like,
they've got the sole purpose.
No, I know.
yeah,
I
they've
know,
started
I
doing
know.
that now
Yeah.
too. Yeah, and also it's about like, I feel like for me anyway, it's like a budget thing. It's like, well, I could buy 4 of these session beers or 1 or 2 of these massive
Yeah.
IPAs, right?
Exactly.
So that's kind of nice too.
Yeah. Do you feel like the beer industry is getting more like cookie cutter? How everyone's doing like the same thing? How do you stand out?
I think so. This is a yes and no. I think that everyone's doing the same thing, but I think that everyone has their own approach to doing the same thing. So when I was at Harvard's, we had at that point 3 different breweries, or no, I'm sorry, 4 different breweries, brew pubs. They were. So we had one on Long Island, one in Providence, one in Cambridge, one in Framingham. And I can't remember what the 4 like flagship beers were, but we each had to keep those 4 beers on tap at all times. And the recipes were pretty similar, but it was up to each brewer to kind of have their own technique. It was up to each brewer to make their own take on it. So you could go to Long Island and get the pale ale, and then you go up to Framingham and get the pale ale, and they'd be similar, but they wouldn't be exactly the same. And I think that's holding true now for
Everyone's making IPAs, but they're all kind of making them in their own way in a sense, right?
That's holding true for the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
You have everyone making beer their way.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing that everyone's making IPAs.
Right.
It's not a bad thing.
Czech Republic's made a way of that for centuries.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
You know, like it's a better reflection of the industry and what it means to be a craft brewer if you have everyone making the same beer, but you can go to whatever brewery and get their own take on it.
Yeah.
Like no one's ever looked at restaurants and said, well, how come every restaurant I go to has a cheeseburger? Like they all do it differently.
Right. Right.
No, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you standing out though from all the breweries in Massachusetts?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you think about it. Ryan's giving me the symbol. We'll keep the lights on here, the Brew Roots podcast, and I'll let you think about it.
Are you a solo artist, band, podcaster, or anyone else who needs recording services?
Well, we got a place for you where your vision can become a reality.
Welcome to Small Pond Studios, built by hand with heart and sweat equity by musicians for musicians.
Go to smallpondstudios.io to reach out to get more information. And make sure you let them know that Brew Roots sent you. Hey, Sound Guy Ryan here. Didn't know if you heard, but we're a part of the Hopped Up Network. There you'll find other informative podcasts about beer. So go ahead, follow them on social media, and visit them on their website, hoppedupnetwork.com, to learn more about the people, beer, and breweries from around the country. And until next time, thanks for listening. Cheers.
How do you stand out from all 213,000 breweries in Massachusetts?
I think it's just, it always comes down to the technique. It comes down to how we do it. I've basically streamlined our entire process. So I think I was telling you guys earlier, like it's a one-man show here in production. I handle all of the tank washing and keg washing and racking. We have an outside company come in for canning days. I handle all the brewing. I make sure that all the tax paperwork is done. Brian does the scheduling and the ingredients ordering, which is really the hard part of my job. So I'm glad that he does it and not me, because I could not do that in a million years. But the physical labor on this side of the brewery is done mostly by me.
That's why you're so jacked.
I'm yoked off my gourds. You guys can't see it, but yeah.
Is it Hulk Hogan or is it Mike from Sterling Street? We don't know.
They had to buy me like a special chair to sit in because I'm just so huge.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm not. I'm tiny.
Yeah, tiny compared to the average wrestler.
So I think what makes us stand out is repeatability and the consistency of the beers, and just how simplified our process is and how much that speaks to the quality. Essentially, the way that I approach brewing is the finished product should be greater than the sum of its parts. And we get that through, like I said, just paring everything down, not to bare bones. I'm not cutting things out
That need to be there.
right. I'm keeping everything in, but we're just simplifying and we're adapting, and we're making sure that things are working the way that they should be. So every batch of beer tastes and looks the same.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Yeah.
I think, too, like you're saying, only having you back here, I mean, you're probably going to do the same thing every time.
Right.
Because it's only one person touching everything.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about someone else coming in and
Doing
saying
it differently than you would or anyone else would.
Yeah. Nobody else is coming in saying, "Oh, I have to dry hop today." Then they're dry hopping at the wrong time.
Right.
Right. That's definitely again, that I think that falls into the keeping it simple.
For sure. Consistent and.
Yeah. I know when things, just by look and sight, I know when things have to happen.
Right, because you're running everything else, and then someone else might not. Like you just said, they might dry up at the wrong time or whatever. So.
Yep.
Sorry.
We also have, you guys listening out there, you can't see it, but I run all of our fermenters as uni tanks here, so I don't move beer from tank to tank. So we're already not beating the beer up.
Okay.
We're touching the beer that much less, which is important. The bright tank, which is this one right next to us, I use that as a lagering tank because I don't need it to package beers off of. But our unit tanks are all, when you look at them, the way that they're built, they're sort of like squat and wide. Like they're shorter than normal
Okay.
and they're fatter than normal, and that just does wonders for our fermentation characters. Like that promotes a really healthy fermentation.
Less pressure.
Less pressure. Yep.
Yeah.
Less head pressure on the top of the tank and less osmotic pressure on each individual yeast cell. So we're already dropping stress down and we're bringing convection up. So we're just getting better fermentation character.
Yeah.
I think by a stroke of dumb luck, Mason Jesse ordered the exact right tanks for what we're doing.
Yeah.
Good on him. You know?
Yeah.
Nice.
What's kind of next for you here?
You know, we've talked about that a lot, and I don't really know what the next steps look like for Sterling Street. I'm on a need to know basis, and right now I don't need to know.
Yeah.
All I need to know right now is brew the
on
beer.
keeping on.
Yeah, like you need to have things done by this date, and make sure that they're done by this date and done the way that they need to be done.
Yeah.
There have been talks about expansions. There have been talks about second locations. There have been talks about this, that, and the third. But I would say
What do you think about? Can we just go back? What do you think about second locations for breweries? We've seen Wormtown. We've seen Notch. We've seen a number of Widowmaker. Second locations. It's very popular in other parts of the country.
Yeah, I know it is, and I think it's a good idea. But I think your second location should be like, okay, so we're in north central Massachusetts. We're right in between Worcester and Leominster. They're pretty much a 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
Either way you go. If we were going to open up a second location, it should be down in it should be on the South Shore.
Kind of like Widowmaker did. They were like,
Yeah.
we're going to open in Boston.
Right. It should be
that farther from their.
I know, but it
Yeah.
is like traffic-wise, it is.
like
True.
it should be Western Mass.
Yeah.
It should
Way
be
far away.
Yeah, it should be somewhere else where you don't have a strong customer base already. Like
presence.
it should be kind of far flung, but also not too far flung that I have to drive very far because I don't. I moved to Clinton because I got sick of driving very far. So, Mason Jesse, when you listen to this, I don't want to drive very far.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a... Notch did it great. They moved from the North Shore to Boston.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like.
Yep.
Their,
That's
their
a great
moves
move.
Made total sense.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
we can talk. I mean, Widowmaker was a good opportunity with the
Sure.
Old Brado location. But when you go all around the country, we look at Portland, Maine, right? We have Austin Street, and they're still in Portland proper. It's just two locations. That's a different beer city. I get it completely, but more often than not, you see places pretty close, like you were saying.
That one. I mean, if it works for them, it works for them.
Yeah, I'm not like here to talk
Yeah.
shit about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think, at least in this area, it's a great idea.
Yeah. Because we saw Wormtown, dude, in Foxborough, and
Lone Pine.
Yeah.
And Fox-
And Lone Pine with
Sure.
their
There's
two
like-
locations.
Yeah,
Yep.
Gorham and
I feel like
Yeah.
those work.
yeah.
And even when you look at, when you look at Notch in Salem and Brighton, like, as far as miles go, Salem and Brighton are not that far apart, right?
But geographically not that far, but travel wise,
But you have to drive through Boston to get
Right.
from Brighton to Salem.
Yeah.
Which means no one that lives in Brighton
it's gonna go.
It's
is
gonna go
gonna
to Salem
spend-
and vice versa.
right.
It's not even
They're
a train stop.
Yeah. They're not going to spend 2 hours sitting in traffic or, an hour on the train
Yeah.
getting up to Salem from Brighton. So Notch did it right, where even though they're not geographically far apart, they're now hitting a customer base that was already buying their beer but wasn't going to their tap room.
Yeah.
Right.
What would be that for you guys? Is it hard to do because you don't do as much? Not just a ton of distribution.
Yeah, it's
It's not a good comparison.
we do a fair amount of distribution, but it's all distro, and sort of once the beer hits the package, it's outside of my control. So like once it hits the kegs and the cans, Mason Jesse do pretty much all the delivering
Yeah.
and sales. So I don't really, off the top of my head, know what what the footprint looks like. Like I know we're in Worcester, Leominster, Fitchburg.
I was gonna say
Sterling.
Worcester maybe would be like the, but you're
Yeah.
so close. You just said so. It's like Do you really go to Worcester when you're technically 15 minutes away?
Yeah.
Don't open up a Patriots Place.
Right. It would be,
Everyone else is there, it seems like.
like, for us, I guess if we were going to do something similar to Notch, we would go more towards, like, Marlborough or Framingham.
Framingham, yeah.
Yeah,
That
Framingham.
area.
Mm-hmm.
But there's already a ton of breweries.
Right.
Right, we got Jackson, we got Exhibit A.
Exactly.
Well, it's 2.
Yeah,
maybe 3.
You're right. You're
Not
right.
that many.
No, I guess.
Well, and then how many are Marlborough now? 3? You got Lost Shoes,
Yeah.
Lost
Flying
Shoes.
Dreams, and Tackle Box,
Tackle Box.
in Marlborough.
But that's not a problem necessarily.
It's not a problem, no. And I know all those guys, and all those guys are friends of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's not really competition. It's actually it's bringing us more business.
Yeah.
And then it's bringing them more.
You're creating a
business.
scene almost.
Exactly.
Oh, right.
We've talked about this before. Prince was like, I'm going to make a cool scene and then elevate his music. And
a
then
scene.
Prince fucking rules. Anytime I can mention Prince, we can mention Prince.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like getting to Marlborough from here. It sucks.
I'm sure.
It
Yeah.
sucks. It's like 7
Noted.
miles away and it takes 35 minutes. It's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So that would be, I mean, off the top of my head, if I was going to put something close by that would appeal to a huge audience that,
You're not necessarily already hitting.
right.
Yeah.
Like they already know about us and sometimes they come out here and they make the trip.
Yeah.
I would just boop,
Put it
plop
closer.
plop something right in Marlborough.
Yeah.
Nice. What do you feel about like the craft industry going for like in the future? I know we talked about locations being more centric towards the community, but do you see it getting morphing into anything else?
No, I don't really think so. I mean, I've been wrong about this before, but I definitely think that the biggest change that I would say off the top of my head that I could reasonably see coming down the pipeline is I think that a lot more breweries are going to open up that are going to be brew pubs as opposed to
Interesting.
tap
Really?
rooms.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
We talked to Switchback,
Yeah.
and they're going to brew pub because
Yeah.
they kind of saw the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just made sense. They would bring more money in by having
Food.
the food.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
It's so funny because that's how the brewery industry in 1998.
Right. That was the thing to
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
right?
and that's how I got my
Well, John Hubbard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you got your
that's-
deal.
how
Breweries
I
have
started
kind of
off.
gone away from that, but then with COVID and everything else, they're like, oh, maybe that is the way.
Yeah.
right.
That is
You
the
know,
way.
That's the way. Yeah. That's the way.
again, watch a Mandalorian.
Yeah. Totally sponsored. Thank you.
Plug.
I'll take my paycheck now.
Yeah.
Disney.
So I don't want to talk about Mystic too much, but anytime I get to talk to a Mystic alumni, do you think there's ever a chance that something like Mystic will come back?
You know, I think that Brian Greenhagen, not Mace, my boss. I think Brian Greenhagen wants to do something again. I think that something like Mystic could come back because he had such a cult following, and the recipes and the beers and the techniques that he was coming up with were so that he was making fucking incredible beers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I would say hands down, the guy is one of the more talented brewers I've ever met. Top 3, easily. And his knowledge was insane.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being intimidated because he was talking to me one day. He was like, so, here's my thoughts on this batch, this, that, and the third. He was like, this is what I'm tasting, this is what I'm getting. And I think that, you put in the dry hops, half a degree Play-Doh
You're like, how do you know this? Like,
too late.
Yeah.
And he goes over to the sheet and he was like, oh, yeah, you dry hopped it at 11.5 and it should have been dry hopped at 12 or something like that. And
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
you're like a savant of beer. Yeah. Okay.
So, and I'm standing there like, I'm in my muck boots
Right.
covered in like yeast and hops and beer. I'm just like, I have so fucking much to learn from you.
Yes.
I think that, especially in Brian's case, something like that could easily happen again. There was a lot that went into the closure of Mystic that
Yeah.
a lot of things that are not mine to talk about,
Yeah, no,
No, definitely
yeah,
not.
no, yeah.
and a lot of behind the scenes stuff that are
It's
not
just a
mine.
brand that you see every once in a while. Whoever
Mm-hmm.
runs the Mystic Instagram page will post something. Or we did a meme that, like, what's a brewery you miss? And we got
Mystic
like 30, 40
was-
people.
yeah.
Mystic.
Yep.
Mystic.
Yeah.
The guy that
and then
runs-
Pretty Lights. You know, it's like,
the guy that runs a Mystic Instagram page was a cellarman that I hired who now works at Lord Hobo.
yes. yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, I think
Would it be
that
successful though? I guess is the question.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that there are definitely changes that would have to be made. There would have to be different approaches and less problems. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of problems there that already sort of existed that has sort of gone beyond
Sure.
through. I mean,
they go too far.
I
Yeah.
I
You
can't,
can't
po-
speak of it. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
speak of it, and I also can't point fingers. I'm not going to
No.
say like,
No,
you know,
we're not asking you to either.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the idea of Mystic, the spirit of Mystic, and the execution of Mystic could absolutely happen again.
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a podcast for another day. I would love to get everyone that was
right.
part of Mystic
Yep.
one day, just like in a room.
Just chat.
Just like, come on, let's make it happen again. Yeah. 'Cause I think there's a lot of people out there. You know, we always, what's a brewery? You miss?
Farmhouses are
Mystic.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, Brian just has a knack for what he did at Mystic.
Yeah.
And it would be a shame to see him not making beer again.
Yeah. I think it will happen again.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the end of the podcast because the,
GoPro
camera,
is died.
GoPro died. So we're fucking done. We're done now. No, but so if you were to kind of give like a 30-second spiel why people should come to Sterling Street, what would it be?
Because, I mean, you haven't been here yet, so get your ass out here.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's
That's pretty simple. I like it. Straight to the point. You
Yeah,
haven't
I'm
been
not-
here, so
Do
come.
it.
yeah.
Do it.
You're already driving out to Marlboro. You're already driving out to Hudson.
Yeah. Don't be a fool.
Yeah, you're driving out to Treehouse. Just
Come on, man.
stop in here for a beer, either on your way there or on your way home. We're kind of on the way.
You won't regret it.
Or just don't go to Treehouse.
Yeah.
I said it.
Boom.
Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
It's not like they're going to come on the podcast anyway, so who cares?
Fun fact: I've never been to Treehouse.
Good
Fun
for you,
fact.
man. I've only
Never
been
ever.
once.
Have you ever been to Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Ryan hasn't.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
There's a combination KFC and Taco Bell in Hudson, right off 495.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
where we're going after this. Some diarrhea. Well, thank you for doing this today.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
It was a lot of fun. Got a
Yeah.
little weird. We got to talk about Mystic. Everyone cried.
Yep.
And
Well-
but more importantly, come to Sterling Street. Drink their
Please.
beer. Yeah, please. The garage door might even be open.
Yeah.
It might be.
You will get to see me working.
Yeah.
and
Literally.
everyone.
You'll
Yeah.
know
wants to
who
see
it
him
is
working.
because he's so jacked. You're like, where's the jacked guy?
out of my. Where's the fucking huge guy?
Yeah, where's the fucking guy that's so big? He can't even fit through the fucking
I
door.
wanna
That's why they
see
have
him.
You got like a big fucking kid who works here,
Yeah.
right, dude?
I want to fucking mess with him. I want to fucking see if he's really one of those guys, you know?
I'm
Wanna
not built
arm
like a
wrestle him.
telephone pole.
He's like a big, tall telephone pole that they had to enforce with 3 different telephone poles because so many drunk drivers hit it. You know what I'm saying? Didn't get caught though. We don't condone drunk driving, just
Please
for the
don't.
record.
Don't do
yeah.
that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, at all. All right. Well, thanks everyone.
It's been real.
We'll catch you next 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We love you. Ryan.
Bye.
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 Cheers.